Friends, welcome to my second season of Burnout to All Out. So excited to bring to you guys new information, new business strategies, new incredible fresh guests to help you grow and scale and ignite your businesses. Today, I can't think of a better way to lift off my second season than with my updated Why LinkedIn today in 2022 and the trends headed into 2023. I think you're going to enjoy this discussion I recently did on some recent statistics and data, why the Great Resignation has created such an onslaught of professionals on the LinkedIn platform as an ideal lead generation social media platform for those of us in the service-based industries. You're going to learn all kinds of cool data on why you should put your running shoes on and be there today. Listen, here's the deal. If you do nothing else and you don't have time to listen to the rest of this podcast today, go Google yourself. Go Google your name and see how high SEO makes preference on your LinkedIn account. See how preferable your LinkedIn account is in SEO. If you are a early stage entrepreneur, especially, and you don't have a website yet, LinkedIn is likely the first thing that's showing up to represent your brand and your business. And if you're a business owner who's had your business for a while and you have a website, congratulations. Go Google yourself and see if your LinkedIn profile isn't still a priority in SEO in the first page on Google. Guys, you cannot escape being on the number one B2B platform in 2022 as a business owner. I hope you enjoy this discussion and really the massive opportunity for those of you in the online business space for LinkedIn today. And listen, if this talk piques your curiosity, if you listen to this podcast before September 12th, because I know we're going to be dropping this one soon, I have a totally free masterclass you need to go check out at burnouttoallout.co. That is burnouttoallout.co. Go register for 9 days of goodness. This is just a little bite-sized nibble of the very first day, just a snippet of the 9 days of goodness, action-packed, results-driven, lead generation training that we give you in our LinkedIn Lead Gen Masterclass. Hope you guys enjoy this episode. Hey friend, Melissa Hinault here with the Burnout to All Out podcast. I'm a former multiple six-figure executive corporate burnout, feeling stuck in the life I built for myself. But using my corporate skills, I took to the internet and have built multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses, showing others how they can build a life they love. Now, on this podcast, I share stories of being an entrepreneur, a mom to my 3 amazing kids, and wife to my wonderful and supportive husband who supports all my wild and crazy dreams. My journey is taking grit and persistence and belief. And believe me, I'm still a work in progress that you may witness in real time, whether it's in our free Burnout to All Out Facebook community or inside my mastermind or even in my coaching programs, or maybe just right here on the podcast. I'm laughing and I'm crying with you. I've become a serial entrepreneur with a passion to inspire more burnouts to take the leap of faith and go all out and live out their dreams. Consider me your mentor in your head and on the go. So let's get started. I am one of those coaches who's actually doing what I'm teaching. I'm not teaching you something I'm not doing. You are here today because of our methodologies, right? So we want to help you create this 90-day pipeline, rich, full of leads on LinkedIn. So here's some facts. I want you guys to write down. I want you to write down the number 23. Number 23. LinkedIn is the number 23rd most visited website on the planet. I want that to sink in. It is the 23rd most visited website on the planet. mostly because it's a search engine. It's not just social media. And we're going to talk about that. I also want you to write down the number one. This is number one, LinkedIn's highest revenue and highest number of engagers ever on the planet of existence of LinkedIn was this year. Okay. Highest number of engagers, number 1 year in revenue for the company. Okay. We're going to talk about why today. We're going to talk about all of it, right? Also under that number one, I want you to write this down, and you can fact check me all you want. The number one most trusted social media platform voted by social media users 5 years in a row. Number one. Okay. Biggest year in revenue yet. We talked about that. Online businesses are booming right now. So let's talk a little bit about the state of the economy, right? Has it not been an interesting 3 years? It's been a really interesting 3 years for the economy, for business. But one thing we know from an article from World Economics not too long ago is that although we're seeing a downturn in the economy, where are we seeing an uptick? We're actually seeing a massive uptick in growth in online entrepreneurship, right? In online entrepreneurship. And there's never been a better place to be scaling or growing a business than in the online space. And there's never been a better place than LinkedIn to have your business and be a business owner and be seen and generate leads. And we're going to talk all about it. Okay. So here's the thing I want you guys to write down that a lot of people are not aware of. LinkedIn is counter-cyclical. So you can write that word down, counter-cyclical. Okay. In a down economy, the activity of LinkedIn goes up. Why do you think that the activity goes up? People are searching for more help in community, job security. They are networking for a plan B. They are networking to be networking, right? To ensure that they are well connected in case they need to be doing something else. Okay. I want you keeping this in mind because over the next year, and we saw this in 2019, it's happening again. In 2019, we saw this massive spike with LinkedIn use because when there is disruption, people question everything. In a down economy, people question everything. Okay. I'm kind of zigging and zagging right now, but here's the thing. A lot of people think LinkedIn is just a B2B platform. They're like, I shouldn't be on LinkedIn. I'm not a business. What they don't realize is that the C, your end customer, is over there, especially frantically in a down economy. And your visibility is through the roof because every other person marketing and trying to sell something is over on Instagram and Facebook. And you're trying to compete with that versus the wide open blue ocean of LinkedIn that's not saturated, where activity is through the roof, visibility is through the roof, organic reach is through the roof. Who's excited? Are you guys excited yet? Yes. So let me tell you a little bit about my story and maybe why you should lean in and learn this method. Okay. I was a corporate leader. I have a doctorate. I've got a master's. I was working a 9 to 5 and realized I wanted to take my skills to the internet and scale my own business. And so that is exactly what I did. I scaled my business in e-commerce to 6 figures and then it began to flatline. Does anybody else experience that? Like you've got this like magic touch and then it flatlines, right? Everybody who's a marketer selling anything started to figure it out, right? And now the competition is fierce over on Instagram and Facebook. I hit a wall and I actually tried doing what had worked for me in the past over and over and over again until I realized what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So what I decided to do instead of being insane was do things differently and expect different results. And it hit me one day, especially being a corporate professional, that, you know what, there's this whole other social media platform that I don't really see a lot of people using, that a lot of people have an account for. Did you know that the majority of people who have a LinkedIn account also have a Facebook and Instagram account? Did you know that? We're going to talk a little bit about this in a minute, but the visibility of your content is through the roof on LinkedIn. and it's minuscule on Facebook and Instagram. So I had this light bulb moment that it's a non-saturated platform and that my kind of people, and it's a trustworthy platform that I like hanging out on. People are kind, they're nice, they're engaging, and people there are really focused on personal development. And I know the user of LinkedIn. We're going to talk about the demographic today, but they're working professionals with discretionary funds to invest. You're self-selecting by being on the platform. And it's a platform where people are taking action. They're there to take action. They're not there to numb out. So sometimes in business, what do we have to do? We've got to slow down to speed up, right? So I slowed down and took every LinkedIn course known to man and realized, maybe you guys have done this. How many of you have taken other LinkedIn trainings? And you're like, now I know how to make a profile, but I still don't know how to market myself, right? What I learned was that all the LinkedIn training out there was like how to set up a profile, how to get your next job. It was all focused for an employee. Like the training wasn't out there for attraction marketing to land ideal clients. And so that's where I had to get to work, knowing what I knew, scaling my first business with attraction marketing and fine tuning and applying it to LinkedIn. I committed to LinkedIn for 365 days. And in that process, I doubled my income in my e-commerce business and retired myself from corporate America at the age of 35. From there, we went on to launch multiple businesses and scale to $1 million in sales in 19 months. Now, why am I sharing that with you? I'm not sharing it with you to brag. I'm sharing it with you to validate that the method works, and it works for all of our clients who come through and they apply the methodology, right? So with that, we've moved forward and we have multiple businesses using our method, whether it's our agency, it's our academy, it's our mastermind, everything I'm teaching you, we apply in our own business, right? Okay. Let's talk about GDP for a second. This is the last thing I want to hit on. Then we're going to get into the actual design of the LinkedIn method. Okay. Here's the thing. So we know GDP is dropping right now, right? I want to talk a minute about the economy. GDP drops. As GDP drops, what happens? I want you guys to think about this for a minute. I want you to think as business owners about your competitors. Okay. I want you to think about your competitors for a minute. What we know in business is that as the economy dips, as inflation goes up, as GDP drops, many business owners do what? Many business owners actually pull back in investing in marketing. They pull back in investing in sales. Okay. I hope that's not you, because here's the deal. This is what I want you guys to think about. First of all, again, congratulating you for being here, but like my uncle, who's a financial advisor, always said, never let a good disaster go to waste. Never let a good crisis go to waste, right? What's happening is many people in business are pulling back for fear. What happens to the competitors in the market who actually lean in while the rest of the competitors lean out? What happens is, my friends, you get a larger market share. Why do you think we have the largest number of participants in our masterclass right now? Because our competitors who are online coaches are pulling back their time and effort. Whereas all these amazing concierges, we leaned in. We doubled down. For every 1% drop in GDP, we actually apply 10% more into our business. Because while everyone else is leaning out, we're leaning in, and you get market share. You get visibility on LinkedIn because you're leaning in and you're active more than your competitors. Is this making sense? Let's get into the actual LinkedIn method. Okay. So I want to talk with you for a minute about the 3 core principles that are the basics of our LinkedIn method, the actual method. There are 3 basic steps that we call basically build, drive, and automate. Build, drive, and automate. So let me talk you through this for a hot minute. We teach our clients how to build what we call lovingly your virtual storefront. Okay. What is your virtual storefront? If you are in business, this is going to be a really great exercise for all of you guys. What's interesting is LinkedIn on SEO, it's very well favored. So a good exercise for you guys is to Google your name and see how quickly your LinkedIn profile shows up. Okay. Google your name, Google your business, and see how far up in SEO your LinkedIn profile is. So we call your profile your virtual storefront. What we teach inside of our academy is how to build your car, right? Your brand, your storefront before you start driving it. We teach inside of our academy to build your profile first. Why do we want you to build your brand, build your message before we drive the platform, which is strategically growing your network? Why do we want you to do that? What do you do when someone requests to connect with you? When someone requests to connect with you, what is the very first thing you do? What's the very first thing you do? I know I'm not alone on this. What do? We check out people's profiles, right? You check them out. The fatal mistake a lot of people make when they come into some of our training is they get to driving, they get to growing their network. And here's the problem. If your virtual storefront is not tight with your value proposition, who you serve, how you serve them, and the transformation they can expect, you're actually losing priceless engagement. Because when you go to request to connect with people, you're missing the opportunity for them to lean in to learn more about what you have to offer because you haven't optimized your profile first. Is this making sense? So we optimize our profile first. We build our car first so that when people land on your virtual storefront within 2 to 3 seconds, they know who you serve, how you serve, and a very clear call to action, how to connect with you. Now, once we build our virtual storefront and people know who we serve, how we serve, right? And they can literally jump into their screen because they want what you have to offer, then we can move into driving the strategic network growth. We can begin driving your brand. But it's very important in the build phase that you are very clear what your content pillars are before you drive your content in phase 2. So hopefully I'm making sense. But we have to know what those content pillars are before we can drive phase 2, the content. So we're going to build our car or build our platform, build our brand first. And we're going to build our storefront, build our content pillars, right? That's phase 1. Phase 2, we're going to drive the platform. We're going to grow your audience, grow your brand, or drive your car, right? What's the sweet spot? The sweet spot is actually in the final phase, which is what we call automation or autopilot. So once you're driving on LinkedIn and you've nailed your verbiage that converts into DMs, you've nailed your recruitment tactics on strategic growth to get, by the way, the right audience seeing your content. Now, this is another thing a lot of people miss. Guys, you can have the most profound content on the planet. And if you're not balancing that with strategic network growth, you might as well be walking into a stadium with a big old billboard and there's nobody in the audience. Okay. I've seen it over and over and over again. I've worked with 7-figure brands that come to me who are influencers over on Instagram and say, I don't get it, Melissa. I post the same content over here that I posted on Instagram and no one's engaging. And I say, that's interesting. What are you doing to grow your network? And they're like, And I'm like, yeah, what are you doing to grow your audience? And they're like, nothing. And I'm like, okay, when was the last time you set up your LinkedIn account? When was the last time you grew your network? This particular multiple 7-figure earner that I had this conversation with said, well, I guess when I was applying to nursing school. Okay. So that was a decade ago. And probably your network on LinkedIn is a bunch of people from a decade ago who are from like your undergrad nursing school network. Now you're a high ticket business coach who charges $100,000 for people to spend a year with you. And you've got high ticket coaching programs, but you are way above and beyond the audience that you currently have on LinkedIn. Is this making sense to you guys? Her content could be so transformative, so value added. She could be an absolute thought leader, but if it lands on the wrong network from a decade ago, which by the way, probably 3/4 of them aren't even using the platform, you've got a dead audience. So that drive, level 2, that drive, the car drive, the audience is very important. So it is the yin and yang, guys. Your branding and your messaging is very important, but your strategic network growth is just as important. You can't have one and not have the other. But the beauty is it's very simple. And all you have to do is stay consistent. Okay. So that third level is automation. The third level is you've got your content pillars, your weekly pushing your content out. Now, this is the sweet spot that our clients can speak to as the leads are coming to you. You are no longer chasing the leads. They are coming to you in droves. So much so, you get to a sweet spot where you can't keep up with your DMs. You've got so many people coming in curious about what you have to offer that you need to automate and pre-qualify who deserves time with you. And so in phase 3, we teach how to automate and to pre-qualify leads through a funnel so that you can have a pre-screen process for people to pop into your calendar during times that work for you and a follow-up formula and tracking system for all of that. Guys, you know what's kind of funny is that the lead generation for our client is what births our agency. We actually launched an agency because our clients were like, we have so many leads, we can't handle them and our business. So we were like, well, would it help if we had some VAs that could help you? And it birthed our agency, right? Let's wrap this concept in a bow. It's a 3-phased approach that is spectacularly simple. You just need to be consistent, okay? It's a 3-phased approach. We're going to build the car, which is you're going to build your profile. You're going to build your content out. You're going to drive the car, right? You're going to grow your network. You're going to drive your content. And then phase 3 is you're going to automate. You're going to pre-qualify. Yes, you guys have nailed it.
Thanks for listening to the Burnout to All Out podcast. For free resources, materials, or information on my coaching services, go ahead over to livethefreelife.co. That's livethefreelife.co. Or check out our Facebook community at Burnout to All Out, and make sure you follow Burnout to All Out on Spotify and subscribe to iTunes. And it would truly mean the world to me if you paused for just a second, gave me that 5-star review of the show, and be sure to share this episode with any burnouts you think would be inspired to go all out after hearing this episode.